Dzień dobry, YouTube. This is Atticus Schaefer. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Atticus Schaefer Vlog. It is so wonderful to be able to see you all again here in person in my little office. And today's video is very different, and it's very special for me because I get to share a place that I spent over half my life. So for those of you who don't know, and probably the majority of you who are here on this channel are here because you are familiar with my work on the ABC television show The Middle. I played Brick Heck on that show, and the show went for 9 years, but really it was 10 with all the pre- and post-production of the show. 215 episodes. I did 216 because I was a part of the original pilot of the show. For those of you who don't know, and it's funny because I do get asked this question a lot on social media, is where was the show filmed? A lot of people think that Orson is a real town in Indiana, or they're curious if it was filmed in Indiana, or was it on a studio? What was it? To answer that question, the show was filmed through its entirety in Southern California, in Burbank, at a studio lot called Warner Brothers Ranch. And Warner Brothers Ranch is not the main lot of Warner Brothers Studios. It's an extra studio lot that has an abundantly rich history. Warner Brothers Ranch used to be Columbia Ranch. It used to be owned by Columbia, and even way back then, it had anything filmed from it, from the Three Stooges to many other very famous and well-known Columbia projects. And then when Warner Brothers purchased it, Warner Brothers just took off from there, and an abundance of rich Warner Brothers television and movie history was filmed there on that lot. Anything from the Lethal Weapon movies with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, to Friends, the television show Friends, to obviously my show, Bewitched. The Waltons filmed some stuff there, and many other projects, as well as even newer projects like The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman, which actually filmed there while we were there filming the show, which was an incredibly cool experience, as well as many other projects that would use the lot for locations or, one-off scenes or locations for their shows or whatever it might be. It was rented out to more than just a specific Warner Brothers project. And so this lot has an abundantly rich history, but even more than that, it has a personal history for me. I literally grew up on the Warner Brothers Ranch lot. When I first started filming the show, the first pilot was when I was 8 years old, and then when we actually filmed the second pilot, which is the one that you all know, with the rest of the cast being different and updated to who they are now and what you all know, I was 10, and then we began filming season 1 of the show when I was 11. So from, really 8 years old, I've known and have had work on that lot, and I'm 25 now, and that was a huge portion of my life, and some of the most meaningful years of my life, obviously being a teenager and growing into a young adult, were spent on that lot. I had heard of this happening. I thought it already had happened, but my mom confirmed to me just this past week of me filming this for you all now. She was looking on Facebook and somehow, someway, came across a person who is posting photos of the destruction and the teardown of the Warner Brothers Ranch lot. And I was seeing photos of all the locations that I hung out in, that I filmed in, that I worked in, and that I grew up in, not only being torn down, but being destroyed. Apparently they were using the buildings, including the Heck House, for firefighter training. So they were literally burning the houses. They butchered and cut down all the trees that had been there probably since it was Columbia Ranch. And they were just leveling and destroying all of the buildings that I knew. And not just me, but every person who worked on my show and who worked on any project on that lot would know and would be familiar with and has memories for. And that was incredibly difficult for my mom and I both. The way that I can liken it emotionally is, imagine you're living in a small town that has one high school, and multiple generations of the people in that small town attended that high school, and then all of a sudden, one year, they tear down the high school. That's literally what it feels like, and even then, that doesn't quite fully capture precisely what I'm feeling and what my mom is feeling, because she was there with me every step of the way, and what I can only imagine is being felt by everyone else who had experiences and time and tenure that was lived out on that lot. This video, I don't quite know the extent of what this video is going to be, and there may even be multiple videos of this topic. I personally feel that it is a travesty what is being done to that lot because of the rich history that is on that lot, and I really don't even know what the lot is going to become. In my mind, I could assume it could be more apartments or stores or whatever. I just simply don't know what the lot is going to end up becoming. And obviously I don't work at Warner Brothers, so I'm not in any way casting judgment or in any way sending anything negative toward them. They made the decision that they made, and they're allowed to do that. I'm just speaking as someone who grew up there. And this is me kind of articulating my feelings and my thoughts on the matter. But what I wanted to do for you all, because now no one is going to be able to experience it, I was looking around on an old laptop of mine because I remembered that many years ago, back when I was still on the show, apparently it was 2015, I actually took my camera to set. And I had asked one of the executive producers, Warner, his name is Warner, not Warner Brothers. I asked him, hey, I want to be able to show people where I work. And I want to be able to show everybody what we get to experience on the Warner Brothers ranch and what it's like to work there. And at the time, he gave me permission to do it. His rules to me, though, were that I could not show anything that we were actively filming for the show, because we were several months ahead of what you all could view when it would air on television, so there couldn't be any spoilers or anything. And so I got my handy cam out and I started to record and walk around the lot and share with you guys, you know, all of my different locations and the things that were interesting to me on the lot. However, I want to apologize to you all in advance because I so desperately wish I did a better job and I did a more full and complete job of my filming that I did on the ranch. What I've found for this video today is by no means the entirety of the ranch, and I missed out on recording a lot of different things for this particular video that I was hoping to make years ago and never did, but I'm glad that I recorded something because I get to share it with you all now. What I'm hoping is that in time, perhaps I can look through my old laptop and see, did my mom and I record more, which I know that we did, but what was the extent of what we recorded on our phones from being on the set. Hopefully, if I can dig up some other things, perhaps I can make a subsequent part or parts to this video and kind of add on to it. And again, the other thing too, which I'm really upset about, is the camera that I was using at the time was far cheaper, far less quality than the cameras that I use these days for my videos here on my channel. And I found that there were times where I thought I was recording and apparently I wasn't. Apparently I took a still photo and that was it. But on my end live back then, I had thought that I was recording. So unfortunately, in this particular sequence of footage, I thought I had recorded far more than what I actually did. But it's more than nothing. And at present and moving forward, it's going to be more than anybody is ever going to get. So I'm having my dear and very talented editor friend Rachel edit this up for me and hopefully make it nice and hopefully make it into something that you all can enjoy. And I'm going to be taking you back to 2015, where 2015 me was trying to share with you all where I spent over half my life on the middle. I hope you will all enjoy, and please, if you would, give this video a big thumbs up and share it on all your social media. That way everyone who is a fan of the show or any project that was made on this particular lot, or anyone who is a fan of television and movie history, they get to see it for themselves. I hope you all enjoy.
people, it's Atticus Schaefer. Right now, I have thought of a very good idea. A lot of you ask me on YouTube, social media, and all that good stuff to describe to you what my day looks like on set, or even what my set looks like. Well, I've decided to make a small video series throughout today showing you what my set looks like. And so this is my special, spectacular video tour of Warner Brothers Ranch. Okay, it's an adventure now. Here we go. So, here in the middle, we have a lot of cool areas where we need to store our props, our set dressing, and whatever. This right here is called the barn. This is where we store a lot of our cool, like, antique-y looking props. Obviously, you can see a lot of barrels and cool boxes, like over there. Just a whole bunch of different stuff for set dressing for different locations and stuff like that. Here we have our awesome wardrobe trailer. This is one of two. There's a trailer where they'll do a lot of the hemming and stuff like that, and then there'll be this trailer where that's where they store the clothes for background and what have you. And here is one of, actually two of our four sound stages where we'll shoot the show. That is stage 31. This stage here is where we have the Heck House. This stage here, stage 32, this is where we set up the interiors for the schools and for actually a lot of different stuff. We'll set up, I think we'll set up basement shots in there. This will be Axel and Hutch's house, the mall, different things like that. And of course we have our cars where we park and everything like that. Interesting fact too, like a lot of the really classic movies that I personally like the Lethal Weapon movies, The Last Boy Scout, stuff like that, they were also filmed in these stages too. And these stages have actually been around since the 60s, I believe. All right then, walking and moving on. Walking. You know, it's very interesting too because we get a lot of history on these sound stages. Yes! Here's our big ol' WB. This is our official Warner Brothers seal, if you will. This is an old WB sign when it was the WB. And this here is also kind of like a mill / storage area where we also will keep the walls and whatever for all the different sets that they build. Because when they build the sets, they don't want it to just, you know, be taken down, torn apart completely. So what they want to do is, and we travel by golf cart here, by the way. That's our crafty guy. We'll store all the walls, store the sets and everything like that, so they're all put away and disassembled, so that all they have to do is just reassemble them when needed. And then here's our awesome camera department stuff, electrician trailers, everything like that. This right here is our crafty setup, and for those of you who don't know, crafty craft service is for our food and our snacks, and that trailer is just full of so many good things. And as you can see, craft service personnel only, but we'll get a crafty table. A lot of good food. And so it's a lot of fun. Here's our other two sound stages. This is stage 33. The sign for stage 34 is back there, but these are slightly newer sound stages. And in here, actually, we'll set up even forests in here. And it's really fun because when we were doing the camping episode on the show, we set up a whole campground setup in there, and park setups, everything. And it's amazing what you can do with just a soundstage. Bring in dirt, bring in trees and whatever, and it looks just like the real deal. And then over here, this is our artistic area, the loft. This is another area for props, for a bunch of different things. As you can see, we have Roman sculptures here. Danger, high voltage. Anyway, also too, this is what my mom and I, we get into, like these cool rustic looking chairs and swings and benches and tables. We love that stuff. If it looks like old wood, we love it. And of course, we got our wardrobe trailer. This is where they do the hemming and the sewing and everything like that, all that important stuff. So this is the end of part numero uno. Next up will be part dos. Catch you guys later. Hope you're having fun. Okay, part dos. So, a little background too. When we're here on the lot, we are super blessed to be on this lot because this lot is so much fun to walk around and to show you. And that's why I think it's so cool that you guys wanted to see something like this. And that's why I thought about the idea. I usually walk the perimeter and everything of the lot anyway every day. And here's my opportunity to do it. So it's like, hey, get the little handy cam out and let's film it. Coming up here, as you can probably hear, so I showed you where we store the sets after we built them. Where do we build the sets? This right here is where we build them. I don't know the official name of this place, but I guess it's kind of like one of our mills, and as you can see, they're building stuff already right now. This is where all the magic happens of them actually constructing the sets and putting the walls and the pieces together, so that way we can use it. Very deep place, very cool people in there. They're nice. They love their job, and it's awesome. That's something else that's really cool about our lot is we love our job here, and it's fun. And I figured, well, might as well do this too while the joy is still there. I call this little guy the lone lemon tree. As you can see, there's already lemons on it. And my mom and I, when we come walking through here, there's a couple lemons on the ground. We won't let them go to waste. It's fresh, it's awesome. And I love little stuff like this. I'm a nature boy, as you can tell. That's the leaning lemon tree. That one's much more full of lemons than this one is. So, yep. Now, just because this is the route I took, and unfortunately it's getting very loud here, I'm going to end part 2 here and start part 3 when we get to our next destination. Hope you guys enjoy. Now it's short, but it's worth it when we get down there. And when I mean there, I mean Blondie Street. Alright, it's not part 2, it's part thrice. This is one of my favorite areas, is the nursery. We actually have, I want to say, it's this one? I believe this is the big nursery here, and then we have another nursery on the other side of the lot, which I will show you later. But I love nature. I love plants and everything like that. And my mom and I, this is like our favorite part to walk by whenever we take our walks during the day, because it smells awesome here. It's fresh oxygen, and it is absolutely beautiful. So this is kind of entering the greens area, and it overflows with plants. And these are what we'll use for hedges, different plants. And it's amazing too, because these pots and everything like that, they'll stack it in such a way that all you see is just the green and everything else is hidden. And it's amazing because sometimes it'll just be not even full plants, it'll be parts of a plant, which you'll see up here in a minute. I mean, like that. I think that's cool. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Big trees. We also have a vehicle storage area over here, which I'll get a better shot of in a moment. This is our steep decline. As you can see, there's more of the nursery. Got everything from flowers to different types of trees. And as you can see right here, I'm zooming in. Remember when I said that there's only parts of a tree? That right there is a tree trunk that they stuck to wood, and that's all you'll see in a scene. And they'll have the camera set up in such a way that you don't have to see the whole tree, you just see parts of the tree. And that's how I was saying earlier about how they're able to make forests and make woods and whatever inside of a soundstage. Here's our lonely greens department. And those guys are very cool, outstanding individuals there. And what was I saying? Trees. But anyway, that's how they're able to make parks, woods, whatever, and be able to put in a soundstage, because it's not really a complete tree in there. They're just moving parts of the tree in, and it's easy for them to set up, move around, and then move out. I think this is cool. This is beautiful right here. I love jasmine. It's one of my favorite flowers. Poll question: what's your guys' favorite flower? My top 2 are jasmine, actually specifically star jasmine, which I don't believe this is star jasmine, but it's a form of jasmine. The other being alyssa, which are those little white or sometimes purple flowers that are only like this big, but they grow in bushes. It's almost like a ground cover. There's a little nerdy greens fact for you. So they got everything. I mean, they have old metal parts. They got wood, even tan and brown grass, different types of rock. As you can see, they have the fake rock formations there, which, I mean, on camera they look real. And this is the back end of the lot too. So we are walking the perimeter today. Greens department only. And it's green. Get it? More of these awesome plants here. Different types of trees. They'll even, they'll sometimes have fruit trees. They have everything. Whatever we need. Obviously, the show's set in Indiana, so they'll have trees that are more specific for that. But when we do the traveling stuff, like when we went to Florida, there was a little opening sequence where it was our car, it was the Heck car, driving, and it said "Welcome to Orlando." That was actually here on the lot, and they took palm trees and plants from Florida, made it look like we were in Florida, but we actually weren't. So it's the magic of Hollywood. This right here, which I'll only show a little bit of, this This, actually, I've been working here for 6 years, and I only found out that this existed this year. Apparently, the higher-ups, producers and directors and writers and the bigwigs, as they say, they have children. They'll have, younger children or whatever, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And they don't want to leave them home alone when they're here at work. So what they have is they have a nursery / I don't want to keep using the word nursery, but more, kind of like a daycare center for the kids. And it was funny. There was a time when we were doing a fire drill, and all of a sudden my mom and I saw all these little toddlers out of nowhere, and we started to panic, because it's like, okay, hold on, what happened? Did everyone shrink? Is it Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? That's a completely different storyline, but you get my point. Trying to be funny, attempt at a joke, didn't work. And this is the vehicle storage area I was mentioning earlier. We actually had an old military Humvee, and I was so tempted to go and find it and sit in it and mess around and just check it out, because I love the military. Sadly, they took it away. And this trailer, way up there, actually it's not this one, it's one next to it, but trailers like these are post-production trailers. This is where all the editing magic will come into play when we're making an episode, and sometimes we'll have to go in and do ADR or certain things like that, and then that's how we're able to edit. And then once the episode, not the final version, but when the edited version of the episode is, that's when Eileen and Deanne, who are the creators of the show, are able to go and say yay, nay, do this, do that, cut it to this, whatever. So anyway, this has been part thrice, and soon we'll get to part 4. I don't know a creative way of saying 4, but 4, quattro, 4, and we'll check out Blondie Street, which is where the Heck House is. So there's the Heck House way down yonder, and you have all these cool houses here. And then we're in New York. And if any one of you are familiar with the show Friends, this should look vaguely familiar. And this is what's so cool about working on the lot, is because we have all these different buildings to, use for filming, use for like downtown Orson or wherever we may be. A good old WB truck there, car coming. Still a regular street, gotta be careful. There's more of the Heck backyard. As you can see now, it looks a little bit more like the Heck backyard, obviously without the posts there. And, of course, we have the classic Friends fountain, where you saw me do my Ice Bucket Challenge video. That's assuming that you even watch my videos. If you do, awesome.
So my friends, here's an area where I want to interject, and I'll have Rachel drop in a photo here. This is an area where I thought that I had recorded more, but turns out my camera was not recording at the time. Behind me, you'll see the front of the Heck House. And as I advance a little bit further in this particular segment of video, where you see the Friends fountain, and beyond it, I said, there's the Heck backyard. This was a very interesting thing that we actually did on the set. Because again, when you're on a movie lot, you need to and you want to be able to control the environment of wherever you're at. Whether that be, for audio purposes, for lighting purposes, whatever it may be. And actually, the Heck House was 3 separate locations. The front of the Heck House was over there in Blondie Street that actually looked more like a neighborhood. The back of the Heck House was that back area that you saw there, but it was attached to a completely separate house. And then the interior of the Heck House was actually on a soundstage, stage 31, which was right across from our trailers, which were our dressing rooms during the entirety of the show. And that was so that way we could control lighting, audio. We were right next to the Burbank Airport, and so we had to pause a lot when we were outside filming because of aircraft coming and going. And so that was a neat little thing that we were able to do, and it made for very interesting filming days depending on what was written in an episode.
And what's interesting, this building here, we actually have a name for this building. These buildings, there are extra buildings here, but this building here is called the Bank Building. And I was watching, and then when I go over to that side, you'll see too, but when I was watching an episode of Three Stooges, on the other side of it, there was an episode where it was something to do with beer or something like that. It was something that they were at a factory manufacturing, and they were loading it from this loading dock, and the loading dock looked familiar. Turns out the loading dock was here in the Bank Building, because this lot was not always Warner Brothers Ranch. It used to be Columbia Ranch. And all all the stuff that you see here wasn't even here, and it was just all, you know, the kind of dirt lot that we'll see in the older films. These are cool too. Again, nature boy in me. This smells really good. I wish I had scratch and sniff YouTube videos. Now over there is one of, I believe, 3 animation buildings, and those people are absolutely awesome. Actually, quick side note, unfortunately I wish I knew the project that he's working on, but a guy I used to work with named Maxwell Adams, who you might know if you're a Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy fan or a Fishhooks fan. I was on Fishhooks, worked with Maxwell Adams, and I'm riding around on my bike one day here. All of a sudden I see this guy, and he's in a golf cart, and he stops the golf cart, turns around, waves to me, and I ride up to him. It's Maxwell Adams. And he is working there now, doing what he does best in the animation field. Oh, here's a good spot. If any of you are familiar with the movie Frankenweenie, yes, I gotta plug myself. This is all the history of me. I was, I believe it was that building right there. Of course, the trees are in the way. When I auditioned for the movie Frankenweenie to play Edgar, it was in that green building that you see way right there. Right there. That is where I auditioned a couple times for Edgar. And we went there the first time, and then they told me about Peter Lorre, and I did my research. My mom, being the awesome homeschooling mom that she is, got me DVDs of Peter Lorre films and stuff like that. And I auditioned, and that's where I got Frankenweenie. And right when I got Frankenweenie, I don't know what that is, I'm terrified now, but okay. Right when I got Frankenweenie, the middle got picked up. And so it was awesome because I would be recording there, or actually even recording here in one of our animation buildings while I was filming the middle. So a little history there for you. Walking. This right here is, unfortunately, I can't remember the name of this building, but this building we've used quite a bit. We've used this anywhere from a gift store to Axel's college, like his dorm, when he was first going to college back in last season. I love this building too because I feel like I'm in The Patriot when I walk by this building. Remember that Mel Gibson movie? Just Me? Okay. Anyway, actually, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when I went to Washington, D.C., and I went to Virginia and stayed in Alexandria. That is what it reminds me of, and I loved going to Washington, D.C. Here's a good poll question for you for this video. What has been your favorite place to go vacationing in? I'm not a vacation person, and I love staycations, I guess is what they're called. My home in California is always awesome. I love it. It's my sanctuary. But I loved Washington, D.C. It was so much fun. Being able to see all the cool monuments, statues, museums like the Smithsonian was amazing, especially because the Smithsonian had the military history exhibit. Yes! And then I loved the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon was incredible. Those are my 2. What are yours? The old Ellert Motors building. We still have the building, and I got worried because I didn't want him to take it down when Frankie gets fired or gets laid off from Mr. Ellert's. They didn't, and actually we use it for a lot of different things. There's good old Brian Doyle Murray. And actually, we'll use this for the Frugal Hoosier now. We used to use the bank building, that big building I showed you back yonder, as the Frugal Hoosier, but we thought this place looked better due to the windows, and it looks like more like a shopping center. Plus, we got the parking lot here. There's a good old guard shack, and that's usually where we'll do Frugal Hoosier, among other things. I hope you are enjoying this thus far. We got a little bit more to go, and then we shall be finished, and I shall be posting these on the YouTubernet, and you all will be enjoying it. Da 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 da. Good night, John Boy. For those of you who remember or appreciate the older shows, I now present to you the Walton House. And this is my favorite area to go and hang out, because it is so full of life. We got bamboo, you got all the different trees that you could imagine. It smells amazing right now. Yes, things like smell are important to me. And the dishes that you saw back there, that is what they used to use to broadcast stuff when they would have live shows here.
This is the Walton house on the Warner Brothers lot. This is the back end. And I'm gonna walk around. Even though there's trees in front of it, I wanted you to see that there's corrugated panels. I go to where the door is. There's actually 2 doors. There's corrugated panels in the back of it. It's a 2-story. This is one side of the house here. It's getting to where it's really getting worn out and rotting, and I'm worried that Warner Brothers is going to end up tearing it down. So I wanted to show the old Walton house. There's still some brick pavers here. There used to be a garden here where the Waltons had flowers. I'm going to show you briefly. This is not the original barn. The original barn, since we've been here, was torn down and then rebuilt, and it's actually just a facade. It's just the front. There's no sides or back to it.
You are witnessing Walton's Mountain. You know what? I'm taking you inside. Got a lot of bees here. This is where they have the old fireside chats.
I don't know how that Walton house was configured, if they only used parts of this at time, but there's rooms that are definitely missing. That's supposed to be the 2nd floor, but I think it's a false 2nd floor. Although I do see wallpaper up there, remnants of bedroom wallpaper, so I don't know if they did have a 2nd floor here at one time.
This right here is a ceiling, but yeah, you see how they have the ropes tied to it and it's kind of tied up there? What they do, this is what we still do now, even in soundstage. These are not actual ceilings, these are actually made out of cloth. And yeah, as you can see, you kind of can see through it there. But it's made, well, and there's a big dent right there, so yeah, you can tell. But these are made out of cloth, and what they do is the electricians and the grips, they'll lift it up or crack the ceilings a little bit, so that way they can get lights in. So you have overhead light, but no actual lighting. And that's why these are empty right here. There's the other room here.
And then through this door, I'm not sure what it was. Was it the kitchen or the grandparents' room? But it's always been kind of cool and a mystery to me. I never really understood how the layout of the Walton house was for the show itself.
I really like the old stuff like this. I'm a big fan of like antiques and history, obviously. And it's always fun for me to be able to share this kind of stuff with you guys. Because there are people out there that really do appreciate this stuff. And we're almost done filming for our season, and when we do come, you know, if we come back next year, things can change like that. And I wanted to be able to show you guys while it's still here and it's still the way it's supposed to be.
Here's another little interjection point here that I want to be able to share. You see this footage here that I and my mom made of, we recorded of the Walton house. So that is actually not the original Walton house. My mom and I think my mom was telling me that she believed that the original Walton house was on the main lot of Warner Brothers. But what happened is later on, when they were doing some Walton specials and they were needing to have the Walton house again, they rebuilt it there on the Warner Brothers ranch lot, and it stood there for ages, and actually we were able to use it as Grandpa Big Mike's house in the show, which I think is so amazing that we got to have that rich piece of television history be a part of our show personally. But what ended up happening is that was actually one of the first things they tore down while we were still on the Warner Brothers ranch lot, and I'm so grateful that I recorded what I did when I did, because actually the following season it was gone. They had already torn it down. So I literally got that footage by the skin of my teeth.
I love the old stuff like this. And this is our history. It's my history and my work, but it's your guys' history watching it. Some of you, your parents, your grandparents, or whatever, are familiar, even vaguely familiar with the kind of stuff that I just showed you. And so I think it's cool because it's kind of like a account of what we have here. So it's fun.
It's just the coolest place. They could just fix it. There's one of the roads that led out. And now they have dishes, these giant dishes, what, antenna thingies. We're talking about space.
Mm-hmm.
But they've cleaned it up here, and I'm frightened that it's because they're going to prepare to tear it down. Used to be a big pine tree right here. It was gorgeous. Warner Brothers, it hasn't watered, and a lot of these trees have died, which is very, very sad because I'm sure that the tree had to have been quite old by the time it died. And if you count all the rings, I'm seeing 50, 60, 70 rings, possibly, on this tree. Here's my hand. This is the other side of the Walton house with the chimney. And there used to be a building there that I think was the washroom of the Waltons, the side door that they came out of all the time. And then the road leading back. So there's actually, I think, 3 roads. Oh yeah, here's the back of the barn, as you can see. It's just a facade. I'm sick about the fact they cut that pine tree down.
I know.
And there's another one that's right up there. There's another big pine tree that they cut down. All they would have had to do was water. I don't care if you're in a drought. You don't allow things that have been around for almost a century to just die. That's it. And then all of a sudden there's civilization. There's the back of a CVS pharmacy. And that's it.
I hope you enjoyed seeing where I work and what I get to go to every day, 5 days a week. And this was cool. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you guys. Alrighty. Stay safe, everyone. And good night, John Boy.
Alright, my dear friends, I hope you got to enjoy. Obviously, it wasn't an extensive tour, but it was something. And I hope that you all got to enjoy seeing this piece of history of myself from younger me, as well as being able to experience just a little bit of my history, my life story, my life, my work, and the history of the show. And I really hope that you all enjoyed being able to come along with me down this very real and in a way sad trip down memory lane. And it's sad because it's not going to be experienced anymore. So I hope you all were able to enjoy. And again, like I said earlier, please like this video and share it to all your social media. That way, anyone and everyone who wants to be able to get this little bit of an experience of Warner Brothers Ranch and see this bit of history, they can. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed. Be well, and I will see you in the next video or live stream, whichever comes first. Do widzenia, friends.